Ladies and gentlemen, we are still talking to Fred from Shemenshia Farms in Ghana. Yeah. Shemenshia is a Ghanaian word.
It's a Ghanaian word.
Meaning?
It means, what if I had never met you?
Perfect. So we are talking to the director of What If I Had Not Met Him.
Farming in Africa.
Farming in Africa, that's the YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. And like I have always told you that the biggest number of billionaires to come in Uganda, in Africa, are going to be farmers. Yeah. I want us to look at how to make money in agriculture or in farming, or how do you become a billionaire in agriculture? Ladies and gentlemen, that's a discussion we are going to talk about, but please ensure that you subscribe, one, to my channel, but also to his channel, Farming in Africa. How are we becoming billionaires in Africa through farming?
I think before I answer that question, I would say, what has the status of farmers been in the past, right? Let's take our grandfathers, for example. What is the status, and why have we even tried to, our goal has been to go look for white collar jobs, right? My grandfathers were farmers.
True.
And I saw the house they built. I saw the lifestyle they lived. Yes, there is good side to it, but it wasn't a lifestyle in terms of financially that I would like to aspire to, right? And therefore, my question is, what are some of the things that we can learn from them, both the positive and also the negative? Because we can't continue doing things, the same thing over and over, and expect a different results. My grandfather wasn't a millionaire. Your grandfather perhaps wasn't a millionaire as a farmer. So if you are saying we are going to be millionaires, then we can continue doing things like our grandfathers were doing it.
That's very true.
And I think that is the first point where we need to start from as farmers. And as you wanting or trying to go into the farming industry, or even if you're still a farmer, the question you ask yourself, what are you doing different? Because money doesn't grow on trees. Even though some people might say yes, because trees produce whatever we sell, but there are things that we have to do. We have to change the way we look at farming, the way we practice farming, and the way we are thinking in general about farming in order to achieve that millionaire or rich status that we are all aspiring to be. So I think my message to people watching me is just assess that and think about what they are going into and how they are going to achieve a good results in terms of monetary from farming.
So Fred, I want somebody out there to know exactly how, like just selling produce here and there will make me a billionaire. How, you know?
I think the how, first of all, comes, there's so many things that we can talk. And farming is a business. First of all, you can go into farming if it's your hobby. That's okay, but you need to make sure that's your hobby. If you're going into farming for business, right? Just like you and I, we're businessmen doing farming, want to educate, want to make an impact as well. True. But that doesn't prevent us from being businessmen. So there are other values that we charge for in our endeavor of being farmers, right? So we are thinking of it from a business. And this is an education to our viewers. Sometimes, when somebody even have to book a consultation with me, like, why are you charging for this? I'm like, because I have to pay for an internet. You got to understand that. So we need to think of farming as a business first of all. Once we have that mindset, then we ask ourselves, how do we run this business? And don't forget, not everybody is a good business manager.
That's true.
Even tech companies, whatever business is, it can fail. So you can also fail. But once you start thinking of it as a business, then you're looking at the end results, which is making money and making an impact.
That's true.
Then you start thinking about management. You start thinking about quality. You start thinking about branding. But most important thing in farming that I would like to talk about is, if you're thinking it like a business, then you should be thinking about taking whatever you're producing direct to the consumer.
Okay. Not having a middleman, is that what you're trying to say?
So if you come to Shemenshia Farms, we are breeding now. And I always tell people I am also experimenting because whatever that I'm doing now, I believe I am testing the waters to see what is good there, what is not good, how should I do. I'm learning. But my end goal is in livestock farming is to have my own abattoir where I can process my meats right from the farm. And the reason why I'm doing mixed farming is so that when you come to my abattoir, you can have every meat that you need to take home and make, and be able to cook with it. And that's why I'm going that way. But if you're thinking that, okay, I'm going to have my farm in my village and then somebody from the city is going to come to your village. Let's look at how we sell livestock in Ghana. People from the abattoir will come and they look at your livestock. It's too small, it's too skinny, it's this. And they'll just quote a price based on that. Not by weight, not by how long you've invested in that. And if you're a farmer who doesn't keep record, then you don't even know how much your animal is worth, right? And then he buys it at that price, knowing perfectly well that he is going to sell it by kilos at the market. Ask yourself who is going to make most of the money. So all your hard work as a farmer is now going
to waste.
Into it. Let's take a crop production, like tomatoes. A tomato farmer, cultivates his or her crops, and then somebody comes from the city and stand by the roadside. If you don't buy it, it goes to waste, and therefore you're being pushed
to sell,
or even manipulated to sell at the worst price. Not thinking about how much pesticide, labor, fertilizer
and
you've
the time
invested.
you've put in, yeah.
So these are things we've done in the past that we need to stop. So I talked about preparing your food first. Look for your market first. And now the internet is all available. YouTube, using smartphone is not only for educated people or people in white collar job. If you're a farmer, start a YouTube channel now. Build your audience now, right? Because those are the measures when you think of it as a business that is going to generate the millions to you.
Yes.
Because if you don't have it, if your farm is as great and you have good product and nobody knows you, and you're
there's no way you're going to make money.
Exactly. You're in your village, you're in your corner. Yeah, you're the corner champion, but you're not going to make money. So we need to change the way that we are doing it and the way we are seeing farming and thinking of it as a business.
Somebody thinking of farming, because farming is quite huge.
Yeah.
Somebody would ask, should I go into animals or should I go into crops?
Yeah. I asked myself that question too. And one thing about me is I don't like perishable goods in terms of business. I like to control when I sell, how I sell, and my markets.
Who do you sell to?
Yeah. And the only reason why I don't do crop farming, I do crop farming to feed my livestock.
But not like for
but
selling.
Not for sale, right? They all have like a time bound to it. Vegetables, if you don't get it to the market, and
by
therefore,
this time.
Exactly, the purchasing power is not in your hands; it's in your market, right? And at the end of the day, if it's going bad, you have no option
than to sell,
right? My livestock, if they are sick, I don't even want to sell because then it's bad for consumption. So the only time I sell is when I've decided this is what I want to sell. And if you don't buy it, it will still be there. I will either breed or use it for something else, and I can control that. So that is my personal opinion. But putting my personal interest or opinion aside, I think the decision is in your hands. And it's in your hands because you need to know what the demand is like in your neighborhood. It doesn't matter if you go into pig farming. Even though pigs multiply fast and blah, 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 if your neighborhood is full of Muslims or due to some religious activity, people don't eat pig at your neighborhood, right? So I think the power is in your hands to look at the market that you have available and then make the right choice. Because once again, it's not about your passion, it's not about your feelings, it's about business.
Okay.
And business goes to supply and demand.
Okay.
Right.
You've traversed the country, first of all, in Ghana. You've gotten to know about a couple of farmers and what they're doing and what is selling and what is not selling. You've gone to South Africa, you've gone to Nigeria, you're in Uganda, you're in America, elsewhere. What are some of those agricultural opportunities that you'd like to recommend that, hey, if you did this, I think you'd become a billionaire or a millionaire?
Yeah. I think the livestock industry, right? The reason why I say that is because it needs to be revolutionized. We haven't given livestock farming the priority and attention that it needs deserves to be able to feed. If you go to Ghana right now and you say, I want to buy like 10 goats today, you will roam 10 villages and you will not be able to get 10 goats. Why? Because everybody is doing it backyard. Meanwhile, every restaurant is looking for goats for their food.
True.
Right? You the same thing with cattle. People from Burkina, Togo, Nigeria, other places have to be walking their cattle in bushes, feeding them. So if you want even a cow to buy, you gotta either go to the bush. And even if you go to the yard where they sell it, they are all sick. Farmers are bringing it to the market because they are not well. Yeah,
true.
So there's a huge problem with that. There's an untapped business opportunity there. You go to the US and you meet a farmer. I met a farmer in California, somewhere in the valley around El Centro, getting to the Mexican border. And one guy has 70,000 cows. And he's just supplying every day. And every single day, about 10, maybe 5,000 cows are giving birth every day. I was there, right there in front of me. Cows were giving birth like fruits falling on the tree. That's feeding their country. We don't have that system. And why don't we have that? One problem, the source of food. Because you cannot have, the maximum cows you can have is maybe 300. And even that you have to divide them. And that will bring you headache that you can't accommodate. Because they are feeding in people's farm. People are calling you that your cow did this. There's so many issues, so you end up giving up. And after all, once you make some small money, you sell them and you go and you buy a car.
And drive or a house.
Because I know somebody who sold their car and bought a van, and now they are public transport driver because they couldn't take it. The only way we can scale the livestock industry is if we have feed. And that's why I am very passionate about pushing the brachiaria grass to all farmers so that every farmer can have a source of feed. Once you have feed, then you just want to multiply.
Okay.
Because you can feed and take care of it.
Interesting.
Right? Veterinary service, all those things, management, you can learn and improve on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. We don't want to prolong this conversation, but at least I have been able to talk to Mr. Fred and we've tried to paint a picture for you where and how to actually become a billionaire or a millionaire in farming. So, Ainama tu aulide. That's a Luganda word meaning if you have the ears, please hear.
Listen.
If you have the eyes, you've probably seen.
Yeah.
And we hope to continue these conversations once in a while. But Mr. Fred owns Shimeshia Farms found in Ghana. You can go to his YouTube channel, Farming in Africa, and subscribe and get to learn a lot about farming in Africa. Until then, it's a goodbye.
Bye-bye, guys.